Welcome to Zelda Speedruns. We have for you from the Zelda 2 Randomizer Standard Tournament 2024, the NIT Grand Finals, Game 4 of Jkoper versus ta909. On tracking today, we have Tomotalk, and I'll pass it over to our commentator for this race, Elendar. Take it away.
Hello, everybody. We're coming down to the end here. This is game 4 of a best of 5 match. Jkoper took the first one, ta909 taking the next two, so Coper's going to have to take this one down if he wants to force a game 5 coming up. Both of these runners are absolute veterans of various speedrunning scenes. ta909, an expert level Zelda 1 randomizer player, as well as other games. Jkoper, a top level runner of basically every randomizer known to man. Both going to be putting on a great show here as we're taking off in just a bit. For runners who haven't been watching the tournament so far, it's the same flags as we used in the main standard bracket. Same flags as Swiss, some pretty sensible stuff. We got all 6 palaces, not starting with anything. Just sort of a nice, comfy, randomized overworld, randomized palace experience. And we are off. We got a quick sighting of what our overworld's got in store for us. Looks like vanilla-like, maybe? Could be vanilla-like, could be caldera. Not likely to be mountains with how open this first area is. That's Rappa Cave leading to something. It's a weird direction for a connector cave to be facing. Oh, it's not. This is actually Hard Container Cave. The enemies were just hiding on the ground. So a quick child for Jkoper. TA did not find. He's going to get some towns instead. Oh, he found a way to the east that I completely missed right away. So it must be one of these caves right at the start here. So he is going to get a free spell, but it's not going to be from the west. Yeah, probably this cave right here that Jkoper's going into. Yeah, okay, that leads east. ta909 gets the Reflect spell, so that's 1 of 3 potentially required spells down. And Jkoper not interested in going to get Reflect. He'll come back later, hopefully with some more magic containers, maybe with spell to more carefully clear out that town. He's much more interested in this fire spell. We do have linked fire on, so this fire spell will also cast one of the other spells at random whenever it's cast. Unfortunately, Jkoper is not going to be able to cast it at Magic 1. It might... I don't actually remember if it's possible. I think fire at Magic 1 is the full 128, so yeah, even if you roll it down all the way, I'm not sure you can even hit 64. But 81 is what it is, so you're going to need a magic level even with an extra container. But he'll get to get these hints. Or potential hints from the far side of town. You gotta go an extra screen and a half here to get 2 potential hints. Okay, Jkoper doing the sort of halfway measure of getting the hint from the outside, but not taking the slightly slower hint inside the hut. And yeah, big divergence so far. Jkoper going to continue checking east. TA went back around, went on to the west. It is a caldera, and that entrance is hammer blocked. So probably our runner's going to take quite a bit of time. Well, there's that container I talked about. Unfortunately, fire's still uncastable for Jkoper. As he's finding out, this is definitely confirmation of a mountainous east. So Caldera West, mountainous east, not some easy biomes to start. It's a 100-point P bag. TA had gotten that bag earlier, but died before picking it up in the cycle. So, not getting too punished for that death, but still. You don't want to be missing early experience. Jump spell in Fairy Town, so TA, I think we've seen Mito. I don't remember if we've seen Mito or not. We have. I'm sure we'll see TA going to get down stab as quickly as he can. So Jkoper's fire spell gonna be a mystery. I think he did a second cast there, so it doesn't look like it's life either. Looking pretty likely to be spell at this point, so we might see him turn around. Is it life? I didn't think he, unless he got hit right after he cast it. I'm sure if it is fire life, we're gonna see some more casts later, especially given that Jkoper doesn't really have anything else to do with his magic. Yeah, it definitely looks like there's not much else you could do in the West. TA got a couple nice safeties, some experience, but he too is going to have to turn around and go east. $500 in the small pool for TA, so grinding some small enemies might not be the worst play. Or at the very least, making sure to kill them when you walk by. Jkoper finds the second cave is an entrance to Islands DM. And he is not interested, I don't blame him. TA makes those double hits on Blue as Elfos look absolutely trivial. They are not, I can assure you. Especially when you have to do 30-something of them at attack 2 here. And the East spell's not looking great. There's Shield. So, okay, yeah. Fire Life confirmed, but it's garbage. We're gonna try and take down these guys, but it's hard when they're on opposite sides of you. And down to his last life, but a game over not that costly, because the entrance is pretty close to where he is right now. 150 for the orange. How much of the red's worth? 100. Okay. ta909 finds a bridge over to the maze. Okay, so that's access to all of our continents. Raft not going to be required today. And I hammer a good reward for TA. I believe that gives him access both to the caldera and that hammer-blocked item cave on the west. Are both sort of right near the start. And Jkoper has found Spec Rock. It's not hard to get to either, so hammer going to be a nice pickup. TA wisely searching for the second item on the maze before he leaves. Jkoper, meanwhile, has found Hammer Cave. He's hoping this is going to be something good so he can up A out of here and not have to walk all the way out. Looking good at his experience routing, too. He will take a level in a second here, probably Magic 3. Thinking about holding over, but yeah, I like this play. You know, Life 4 would be better, and it's probable that you can get enough experience before you leave here, but you can't guarantee it. And if the enemies spawn badly, then you just wasted all that experience for no reason, because you do not want to walk out of here. I can almost guarantee you that that Jkoper's going to be up-Aing out of here. TA finds Darunia. I didn't see what the spell was, but we're going to see in a bit. TA going to get upstep first, though. Jkoper with a very wise despawn of the first enemy. Just being safe. And okay, at least the P-Bag is 500. So Jkoper going to get that level up, not waste that experience. Okay, so ta909 gonna get life spell because he didn't find fire. It was just to the left as you came in, but he went north first. So it looks like progression is pretty much forced to be getting that hammer out of the maze. And hopefully Jkoper finds that before too long. Moa's here in the forest, putting TA down to his last life. Meanwhile, Jkoper, as expected, up 8 out of Death Mountain out of Death Mountain, and he's gonna go over all these locations that TA had done earlier as TA goes over where Jkoper was. So far, routing kind of converged back onto each other, but Jkoper having not found that maze is going to be an increasingly big deal here. Unless he finds his way to it soon, because yeah, he has jump but no hammer to get through the caldera. And then this fairy cave might go through to the other side of the caldera, but it's a fairy cave. And no fairy spell yet. And given that we've seen all of the towns on the east, I believe. Yeah, we've seen all the towns on the east and all of the available towns in the west. So fairy definitely going to be on the other side of that caldera. So hammer, 100% required progression here. And Jkoper's just going to have to find that bridge. I think it's just east here. I think he's on the right track. It definitely was on the eastern end of the continent when ta909 found it. Oof. We're doing a good job of killing the enemies, but gets spidered, and thankfully got a 1-up from one of those enemies. And yeah, one of the things Jkoper is doing that is smart is fire got so cheap at Magic 3, he's using it as the flashlight spell. He's just pressing it to quickly flash the screen and show where all the enemies are. And honestly, that's probably the best use of his magic at this point. Also, fire just setting up screens for enemies so that you can make sure that they, they're not going to pop up in front of you and knock you into the lava. Okay, TA got a Death Mountain holds the something that presumably Jkoper had also gotten when he was here. I didn't catch what it is. A runner's very quickly flipping through it. Presumably it's something good for Jkoper to have gone into Hammer Cave. But now that Jkoper has this hammer, if it is something important, we're going to see him turn back around to Death Mountain real quick. He knows exactly where Spec Rock is, and it's just a very short trip from the entrance. Meanwhile, ta909 back in the east, he hasn't found the entrance to Death Mountain, but he's probably going to find it soon as well. So, yeah, both runners taking different routes and converging back together here at the end. As probably ta909 gonna have a little bit of advantage just because when he finds Death Mountain, he already has the hammer. Oh, but Jkoper not even doing... Okay, so the Death Mountain, the Spec Rock must not be very good because Jkoper not interested in doing it. He's just immediately going for the Caldera. And he knows he's already spotted Fairy Cave, so the second Caldera connector is going to be Parappa Cave. So he's going to have no problem clearing his way through to the other side unless this Caldera is... Well, I guess the Caldera can't be one way because the only place Fairy Spell could possibly be is on the other end of the Caldera. So this is definitely a route of progression for Jkoper. ta909 finds Death Mountain and is not interested in it. Okay, Jkoper not even going to check the palace. He already knows where GP is, and so he's just going to go straight through. Fire is 40 and shield is 13. Okay, that makes sense. The flashing screen thing is a little weird. Which spells do and don't flash the screen is not quite handled properly by the randomizer. And so which spells flash the screen is based on what slots the spells are in. So like because vanilla thunder spell flashes the screen, shield is going to flash the screen because it's in a slot that can flash the screen. So it's a little bit unusual. Jkoper thought about walking it out, decides he doesn't care, he's just gonna take the shortcut. Yeah, so ta909 just behind Jkoper, so interesting that ta909 must have just spent more time to find everything in the east, because Jkoper did that extra trip into Hammer Cave, and it has not hurt him at all. He is slightly ahead in exploration here. I guess ta909 doesn't have... I don't think he has the Reflect spell. I don't think he found that. Well, that's right. He found New Casino and just immediately left. Presumably not wanting to go into it until he had some more containers. Okay, there's a glove. That was the next big question. Fairy Spell is going to be the thing they really want here, but it's guaranteed to be in one of these towns on this side of the Caldera, so not going to be too long before both runners have it. Yeah, it's just the backside of Fairy Cave. Jkoper got the boots, but declining to walk across the lake, gonna walk around instead. We didn't see any locations that really look like their boots blocked, aside from water tile we've seen, but not looking too likely that that's gonna be required. So once the runners have got Fairy Spell, the next question becomes, what's the routing from here? Probably what you want to do if it makes sense, you know, if the palace numbers work in a way that makes sense, the optimistic fastest route is do the palace that's on the east end of the caldera and walk back into the caldera, just because Parappa Cave is only 1 screen and Jump Cave is 3 screens, so it saves a little bit of routing time to just do everything here and then do caldera and then up A out of caldera. Saves you about 2 screens of movement. But it's one of those things where if the palaces on the west side are easier and you want to get some more experience, it might be a better route to do it the other way around, even though it adds a little bit of screen time if it makes your palaces a little bit easier. ta909 also here walking around the lake. Both runners getting the boots and then immediately forgetting to have them. Jkoper is playing with Trogdor in the purple color, the sprite that he always uses. Burning his way through this seed. There are a number of sprites built into the randomizer, a bunch more available from various artists who like to make them that are on the Discord. People are interested, you can check out the Z2 Randomizer Discord and come hang out with us. Check out all the new stuff that's going on. Yeah, never heard of Trogdor. That's an old man thing. So, some of us are old enough to remember when that was relevant pop culture. And Barbara Sliver's with the magic key. That is a good hint for ta909. I don't think Jkoper got that one. He hadn't been going into houses for hints. Okay, so Jkoper did a little bit of a optimistic dip into okay. So yeah. Mito, so it looks like Mito is where the fairy spell is. We don't have medicine. How old could it be? I think Homestar Runner would be late 90s? Late 90s, early 2000s, when that particular thing would be relevant. It's very, very early internet memes. 2002, okay. So there's not a ton of locations left. I'm sure our runners got the hint and I just missed it as far as where the medicine is. Almost certainly going to be on the east, and Water Tile and Nukasudo are our best bets. Jkoper right now is looking for Darunia, I think, maybe? He still hasn't found it, and it does have his Reflect spell. ta909 finds a raft. I don't think we've seen either end of the raft tile. We've seen all 4 continents, so just gonna be, you know, Death Mountain to some irrelevant part of the east or something like that. Just not a raft seat today. Okay, so this is going to be Darunia for Jkoper. So he'll be able to get his Reflect spell. Nope. Darunia was life. Where was Reflect? Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. Reflect is Nukasudo. Jkoper found it immediately and then just didn't get it. I'm sure he'll revisit it shortly. So ta909 getting a little bit of experience, starting to catch up. Still attack 2. It's going to be a bit problematic. Okay, so ta909 has found Mito. And now we're going to find out where this medicine is. Again, pretty sure Jkoper was hero. Yeah, Jkoper's got downstep. He was definitely hero ready. I'm pretty sure he got the hint. And if he has the hints, I'm sure he is where it is. But also, there's not that many locations left that could be in logic at this point. None of the palaces are in logic without Magic Key or Fairy. We know Fairy is going to require the medicine, and we know Magic Key is in P6. Yeah, go east to find the medicine on TA's side. Zero surprise there. So we are looking for Nukasudo. Nukasudo a little bit tricky because Nukasudo Spell Tower is going to require Spell, which requires the trophy, which we also don't have. But the remaining locations are the basement, which we have not checked, and water tile. Both runners have seen the water tile, I'm pretty sure. And they can boot their way onto it. But Jkoper, looking around, I'm not sure. Jkoper just, he did find Nukasudo. He walked into it. I'm like almost certain he walked into it, checked the hint, and walked out. And he's looking at this Valley of Death here, but this is not going to be it in this biome. Yeah, it's definitely not a volcano. Yeah, and he understands it. Maybe he's forgotten that he has the boots completely and he's not thinking about water tile. But the longer it takes Jkoper to find... Yeah, now Jkoper accidentally pressed down into the water, and then now he's like, wait a second, I've got the boots. What am I doing? Yeah, and here's Sunken P-Bag Cave, so this was also outstanding. So, could have medicine here as well. That would be big, because this is not an easy place to find hanging out here. But it's just the cross. So, both Nukasudo locations and water tile still to go. So, I know ta909 checked the container requirement for the basements. Given that he has 6 containers, he's right next to Nukasudo, and he didn't go get it. I'm going to guess that means it's 7. Which means probably not basement, so even money on water tile versus spell tower. But if it's spell tower, then we would need the trophy, which means either water tile is going to be the trophy to get spell to get the medicine to get fairy, or water tile is just going to directly take us to the medicine, which it does. Okay, so ta909, first one to grab the medicine. So taking the lead from Jkoper here, with Jkoper finding some pretty cool obscure sunken P-Bag Cave, but it was not the answer. Water tile was the answer, and Jkoper is going to find Nukasudo again. But yeah, he just needs to... I don't know for sure whether he found that water tile or not. It definitely looked like he had forgotten he had the boots. Both runners looked like they forgot they had the boots for quite a while, so he just may not have been looking for water tile. Yeah, okay, confirmation from Jkoper. 7 containers required. He is going to get his reflect spell here, which he needs. But he's going to be a couple minutes behind getting access to palaces. TA back through the caldera, going to be the first one looking at palaces. But no, need to actually go spend that medicine first. Oh, he's looking to get this level in. Okay, picking up A. That makes sense. Okay, so only, I don't know, maybe about a minute behind for Jkoper finding this water tile. He just hadn't checked this area before, apparently, and yeah, he's immediately going to take it up A. And so we'll see both runners into palaces shortly. Jkoper with the cross, ta909 with the raft in the irrelevant items picked up count. But as far as relevant stuff goes, they're both basically tied. ta909 has to take a little short detour out of the way to pick up down stab. Or, no? Did he already have down stab? Yeah, he picked up down stab the first time he was here, apparently, so just spending about 20 seconds doing nothing. You know, I talk about these, little times, 10 seconds here, 20 seconds there on little tiny improvements, but when you're in the finals like this, those time differences matter. Like, there were some twists and turns as far as routing in this one, but nothing too extreme. Oh, that's fun. The boots are actually required in the caldera there to get to the palace, just because of the way it spawned. So yeah, a little over 30 minutes, ta909 first one into palaces, and at this point, our runners are going to be just full foot on the gas running through these palaces. The only item they'd really want at this point that would be helpful would be a magic key, and we know that is in Palace 6, so potentially a pickup here for ta909. He is starting with this Palace 3 or 6, we don't know yet. What we're looking for in Palace 3 or 6 to tell whether it's 3 or 6 is either we're going to find the boss, which will obviously tell us, or we're looking for windows, and here's the boss, it's 3. So, very quick Palace 3. Attack 3 a little low, but with down stab, ta909 easily going to be executing the corner cheese. And just enough for a double level. I guess we don't know. Ooh, 500 points for the bosses, so a double level and just short of a triple level for ta909. This is not going to be attack 4, but I bet we're going to see him roll it over and try and get attack 4 afterward. Nope, just taking levels as they go. All right, 355. As Jkoper running along with kind of a more typical get magic 3, life 4-ish, and then try to pick up attack 4 or attack 5, as soon as you get one that doesn't roll down. But magic 5, Fairy is quite cheap at magic 5. Looks like he's got 3 casts per life. Quick glove block in this palace, but of course our runner's got the glove pretty free on the east. And yeah, as far as how long is it going to be before we see divergence for our runners, I suspect both of these runners are going to play these palaces about the same in terms of routing. There's not a ton of reason to think you're way behind and maybe gamble a bunch on routing. So likely the difference is going to be combat. Jkoper going to have a little bit of advantage here. He's all the way up to, I believe this is attack 5 he's going to take, so that's going to save him quite a bit of time in these palaces. Hopefully going to be enough to help him catch up to ta909 by the time they're into GP. And then, of course, the big equalizer in all of these seeds that can swing the race is Great Palace. It's long, it's hard, it's convoluted, and it can definitely take races that are close and make them not close, or races that are not close and make them close. So I didn't catch whether this was 2 or 5 at the start. The longer this goes on, the more likely it is to just 5, but either of these runners going to have no problem. If it is 5, ta909 is going to have a little bit of a problem to an attack 3 Guma. It's not 5, it's 2. Yeah, attack 3 Guma can be rough. Attack 3 Helmet Head, way less rough. Especially with shield, even a bad life spell, he'll be able to just do safe strats or just run straight into him because his health rolled down and he's Helmet Head. Okay, so he's gonna get the double level to 4, 5, 6. Should be not too bad. Hopefully gonna find another attack level soon, but other than that, won't be a problem. Either of these runners will be in comfortable levels by the time they get into GP, but it's just having attack 5 before you do like a P5 or a P6 can make quite a bit of difference, because these runners are definitely of the caliber that like an attack 2 or attack 3 Barba isn't out of the question. It's just long, right? You can spend a minute fighting attack 3 Barba. It takes a long time. Whereas, you know, you got attack 5, attack 6 coming in there, you can make up a lot of time. Speaking of making up time, I think Jkoper's execution and his superior attack levels gaining him some time there in Palace 2. And once again, he's set up this situation where completing the boss is going to get him an attack level. This is a very classic leveling strategy that Jkoper is using. The get to Magic 3 Life 4 means that the threshold to level up is at about 1,000, which you can usually pick up in a palace. And so he'll be able to get attack 6 here, potentially attack 7, and then if he can do it one more time, complete a palace and then take that experience from attack 8 and dump it all into Magic and Life. So not only does this strategy give you a lot of attack levels early, making it fast, but it also means you'll probably reach a higher overall level heading into GP. Now, the danger of a strategy like this is, you know, if you are trying to set up getting an attack level and you're just short, you know, do you drop the strategy? Do you go spend some time farming? It can be a bit tricky, but okay, that's a really interesting divergence there. Jkoper did not, he saw that item room and did not get the item. ta909 knew it was the NE key because he had gotten that hint. Jkoper did not. And so he's going to gain a little bit of time from not having to do that room, but he is going to potentially lose some time by needing to cast Fairy a bunch. Hard to say which of those is better. But if you're looking for points where the race might be won or lost, That's one of the ones to consider. So yeah, ta909 took that drop. Or sorry, Jkoper took that drop. ta909 didn't. And it looks like they both basically led to the same spots. Jkoper might have lost like a screen worth of travel time. But they're both on the same route now, heading right. Whenever possible, you want to be heading right in a palace because the boss can be up an elevator, it can be down an elevator, it cannot be left. Sorry, and obviously a boss can be right, it's just vanilla. Okay, point of divergence here. Jkoper going right, ta909 went up the elevator, and up the elevator was the answer. I think. No, actually, I might be wrong. ta909 must have turned around because Jkoper is definitely on the same path ta909 was on. Yeah, I think he checked up and then went back down and I just missed it. So yeah, they are on the same route. Not gonna be that different. So Jkoper in Barba's room at the same time, he was a solid minute behind, and oh, with that death, that minute Jkoper was behind is gone. They are now tied. Not technically tied. Jkoper does have to kill Barba here, but again, this is where attack 6 making a big difference. Jkoper almost got a 2 cycle. A lot faster than ta909's kill. Probably got 20 seconds apart. So, TA with a little bit of lead, Jkoper with the attack level lead, a big attack level lead at this point, gonna be attack 7. And TA with the any key, potentially providing some advantage. But other than that, pretty much even. Is now TA is heading into P1. Jkoper is doing something. I don't remember where all the palaces were, so. Wow, and P1 is a joke. Okay. So, despite some early game routing shenanigans, this is rapidly turning into a very, very quick seed. We had basically free P2, basically free P1. Yeah, and this is where I was talking about the potential cost of doing this strategy where you try to ramp your levels is sometimes you have to get that little bit of extra experience. It does cost you some time, so. And I'm going to lose about 30 seconds here in order to pick up this extra experience, but it is 9,000 extra experience, so probably worth as wow. And P4 also free. In general, the longer the palaces are, the more advantage you get out of having a bunch of extra levels. Just because you're clearing screens faster, you want there to be as many screens as possible for you to clear faster to press your advantage. These short palaces are definitely not favoring Jkoper. He's got to hope for a long 5 or long GP. Okay. Jkoper briefly thinking about taking attack 8, decides against it. Smart. Really don't need attack 8 for anything. Much rather have what turns out to 4 life levels. So this is a little bit of a smarter play for Jkoper as far as routing. It's a real minor thing. It's probably not going to save him. Oh no, this is P4. That's right. ta909 already did P4. It was so fast, I blinked and missed it. I was saying, it definitely does make sense to do this P4 before going into the Valley of Death, but there wasn't much P4, just like P1. And what's really neat here is by taking all of those levels in life, Jkoper has set up another situation where this is going to be life 9, and he can use this to grab a bunch more magic levels. And so he's going to be coming into GP at like 7, 7, 8. But will it matter, right? I mean, as long as all these palaces end up completely free, the levels don't mean anything. When the seed is, you know, just a bunch of really easy palaces, the winner's going to be the person who just put their foot on the gas and goes. Yeah, so as expected, not quite enough for Magic 7, but he will be able to get it from clearing P5, or probably in P5. He only needs like 400 more experience. But that little bit of experience grinding he had to do definitely set him back, and TA now solidly more than a minute ahead. But P5 is a big one. It could be long and confusing. You can definitely gain or lose a bunch of time in it. And yeah, this first right for Jkoper, that after he takes a death, this is I believe a dead end. So he's going to have to take an up A, and he's almost certainly going to lose all this experience. But I think it's the right thing to do. ta909 taking a little breakout here to get item in this palace. It is a heart container, which was definitely the best thing he could have gotten. Putting him tied with Jkoper now. Jkoper's just about to find the end of this dead end. TA has found Guma. And wow, this is... The runners weren't even in palaces at all until 30 minutes into the seed. And TA is going to be in GP in less than 50. All 4 palaces, like 17, 18 minutes, no problem. That is fast. Jkoper not even interesting, or the P. Like, I don't blame him. Like, this doesn't matter at all. And GP was not that far from start. Right next to this entrance to the east here. A quick fairy feet through the Darunius sands. An unfortunate way to find this tile. Right, the very first thing we get in GP is a fairy block. And let's watch Guma melt. Power of attack 7. Taking a few hits, but no problem. So Jkoper, yeah, not even interested in that extra level at all, just burns the gem. He's upping. Oh no! What happened? Why did Jkoper select the wrong file? Jkoper's levels are 111. What happened? Oh, that is either selected the wrong file or oh yeah, he hadn't saved and hit a hard reset. That really sucks. So we are going to see TA finish this one out and do a victory lap, but there's a rough way to lose a race. This first room, pretty rude. 2 spicy chickens and some waffles. And okay, curious what TA was going to do here. Having this blue bird right at the start sucks. You definitely can in this room just cast fairy and say forget all this noise, but does a decent job getting through with your shield. Okay, this is our first down stab block. Okay, what's going on? Yeah, they're talking about just potentially calling this one a push, and we'll see what the runners decide in the race room in just a bit. It's just really unfortunate. If you most of the runners, because they're just up Aing all the time, might go an entire run without saving their game. But if you do a hard reset and you haven't saved your game, then you definitely lose everything. All right, so yeah, that looks like what's officially happening. The runners are just taking a double forfeit here, and because this unfortunately this was a really close one, and it sucks to lose a seed like that. So gonna be tomorrow's game that was gonna be game 5 if necessary is just gonna be a rerun on game 4. We're just gonna get potentially more Zelda, which I'm sure everyone's excited about. Let's see if the runners want to talk about it all. We got Jkoper here. And welcome to the end of race room, Jkoper. How that sucks. That just sucks.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Yeah, it unfortunately it was a real close one. You were about a minute behind, probably into GP. And you had the level advantage because those were some pretty high levels by the end. But other than that, you and TA basically did very similar routing into the beginning. You got into palaces about the same time. TA had gotten a hint for the any key in 6. So that was the big difference for a while is he had any key and you had a million levels. And yeah, that other than that, you did the palaces in the same order. Palaces were very free, which when you have a big level advantage kind of sucks because you don't get a lot of opportunity to use having high attack. But yeah, it looks like TA is just gonna head out. Did you have any comments you wanted to say on this one, Jkoper, or we just head out for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean it's entirely my fault. I'm pretty sure I just hit reset too early, and the thing is, I also didn't need to hit reset. It was kind of just like out of habit, sort of thinking. Usually if I'm saving, I'm hitting reset to manipulate the 6 count or something. But all I wanted to do was get back to start. And I'm pretty sure I just hit reset a little too early, which may be entirely on me, or it may be somewhat on my cart as well. But I've done the same thing in the past too, so.
Yeah, it could be save times are going to differ on hardware, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, so I can't I can't blame anyone except for almost entirely myself. Yeah, and certainly would have been a very anticlimactic way to win out the tournament here for TA, so I can understand not wanting to take the win in his shoes either.
Yeah.
Yeah, the why? Oh, okay. I can tell you what really bothered me, and maybe you know. I don't know when I got the boots, and I did not acknowledge them properly, like playing with them. Where were the boots again? I'm not sure.
I think they were like right when you passed through the caldera, like shortly after that. Both of you forgot. Both of you were walking around lakes for some length of time immediately after getting the boots.
Okay.
And so that didn't actually cost you very much time.
Okay.
Because you both made the same mistake, and I was like, yeah, you're both walking, and then like when you had gotten to the coast there and found Sunken Peabag Cave, you like accidentally walked out of the water. And I was like, wait, what?
So basically, the double dip of the eastern area of the west and the triple dip of the east were both necessary.
Yeah, you had to go back and forth quite a lot.
Okay, that makes me feel less bad because I was like, when did I get these boots? And could I have had this medicine the first time I was in the east? That would have been so nice.
No, you could not have had it the first time for sure.
Right.
Tia did gain a little bit of time on you just because he didn't end up going all the way up to where Sunken ended up being. and just found the water tile first.
Yeah,
So
I knew where the water tile was. I just didn't.
Yeah,
know I had the boots.
well,
If I had realized I had the boots, I would have gone straight there.
And it was gonna be one of those two, right? It's gonna be one of those two, or it could have been like
magic jar.
Yeah, it could have been slightly more. It could have been. Yeah, it could have been trophy as well.
Right,
Just slightly more convoluted ways of doing the same thing. But that's all there was left.
Yeah.
You checked everything else, so it was going to be something like that.
Yeah. Although we also had the hammer, and that could have led to a 7th magic jar or the trophy. Same thing. In Death Mountain, I don't know if TA checked that at all. Like I saw the cave, and I walked past the rock.
He didn't check it, but I think he had a hint.
Oh, I mean, we had one hint for Death Mountain.
Was it? Yeah, I don't. Both of you, I think, got that hint, and then it was so fast I couldn't read it, and I just sort of assumed by the fact that both runners got the hint and no one wanted to go back to DM that it was just not anything useful, and especially after you both knew that the medicine was in the east, it was sort of just it had to have been some combination of one of the 2 water spots getting you there.
I mean, like I was just saying, it could have been Spectacle Rock. We had a hint for P-Big in Death Mountain, and that's what was in Hammer Cave.
Yeah, but TA at least had gotten the spell hint for medicine on the east, so. But you could have had to go to Spec Rock to get like Spec Rock for trophy for spell into Spell Tower to get medicine. That would have been the real trolley route.
Yeah, or for the 7th magic.
Yeah.
Something out of the Grandma's basement. Yeah, I feel bad about this. I'm also super annoyed that my webcam seems to have stopped working today, and I don't know if there's a way I can fix it. I already restarted my computer and tried plugging it into a different port, so it may have just died. I don't know. It's been 10 years. The light's still on it though. Just not doing anything. So that's frustrating. But anyway, we'll do game 2 tomorrow, and then I don't know about or not game 2, the rerun of this game for tomorrow, and then game 5 if needed, maybe Thursday. I'm not sure. I haven't discussed, because that's not something that's supposed to happen, and it again, it's entirely on me. And
we'll see. Hopefully, I'm always rooting for more races, so we'll see how tomorrow's race goes.
Yeah, I felt really bad about how long it took me to get into a palace here, and like the seed was actually kind of fast. It was just the double dipping of getting the hammer and everything like that, and sort of doing things in the right order. But even there was only so much right order you could do.
Yeah, there's a lot of overroll at the start, and then the palace is just sort of like half of them were like 3 rooms, so they just went real fast.
Yeah, the palaces were short, and then the 500-point bigs dropping at the bosses was pretty nice for leveling. So, all right, well, thanks for doing commentary, and to whoever else helped out. I guess it was just you and Tomotalk tracking and BT. So, yeah, I guess we'll do this again tomorrow.
Yeah, well, good luck at the next race. I'll probably be here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yeah. Probably be here, and we can see another good race. So
we'll rerun this tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock Eastern. So, of course, adjust for your time zone. And, of course, thank you, Elendar, for commentating, Tumultalk for doing our tracking. And of course, our runners, Jkoper and ta909. I'm going to send you over to a all keys runner going on right now, just to have something to watch, some more Zelda 2 gameplay. But other than that, I guess we'll see y'all tomorrow. And thank you for watching.